All right, seniors, we're back for the second video here. This is the video that will take you through vocabulary words 1 through 12. In the previous video, we did the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, and explained all of that to you guys. And hopefully, some of y'all are going to be sending me videos of your TikTok dances. There's only one problem with that is I don't have TikTok and I don't have social media, so I don't know how you're going to get these videos to me. I guess you can upload them in Schoology of you guys doing the First Amendment dance. And then maybe that could give you some bonus points. I don't care. Get together with your friends. Do 3 or 4 of you together at one time. Send me the video. We'll laugh. You'll never forget the First Amendment and the 5 things that are in it. Now let's look. Get your notes out. The last thing you should have in your notes is Amendment 10, leftover spaghetti. So now we're going to our vocabulary words. The very first word is easy, the Bill of Rights. What is the Bill of Rights? You should all know that it's the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. The Bill of Rights. It was added at the beginning, before the Constitution was even ratified by the original 13 states. Now, there are parts of this Constitution that you're going to hear. Ignore that bell. That does not mean you're leaving. Stay right here. Okay. Our Constitution has a clause which is called the Separation of Church and State Clause. We have a strict division between religion and government in our country, and our Constitution demands that we adhere to that. In other countries of the world, the religious leaders are the country leaders. You know, the religion is their government. And in America, you have freedom of religion of your choice. So that's why, our government and religion are separated in America. Separation of church and state. Now, I told you, here's a couple of words to write down. And remember, you may have to pause me at any time. But free speech is guaranteed to us in the First Amendment. But there are certain things that aren't protected by free speech in the First Amendment. Remember, the original intent of the First Amendment was to allow us to speak out against the government. The colonists really weren't allowed to do that too much. People in Great Britain weren't allowed. If they spoke out against the king, they disappeared in the middle of the night. They were thrown in a dungeon, and the key was locked away and thrown away, and those people were left in the dungeon for the rats to lick their sores. I mean, you weren't allowed to speak out against the king, but our founding fathers wanted us to speak out against the government if there was something we didn't agree with. That was the original intent of free speech, not so that you can just say whatever you want to say. You understand? That's not what free speech intent is. I don't have the free speech to call, I can't call Taylor Chris any name I want to call her. That she has a right not to be called bad names. We all love you, Taylor. I just thought of you to use you as an example. But we can't, free speech is limited. And here's a couple reasons why. Remember, slander is not protected by the First Amendment. And this is telling lies that damage another's reputation, slander. And libel is the same thing as slander. It's just published. Libel is published slander, so you publish it, whether it be on social media or in a paper somewhere. You can be liable. That means, you have published slander against someone else. Those things are not protected by the First Amendment, free speech clause. The next one is petition. The First Amendment does allow you to petition the government. What is a petition? Everybody always wants to sign a petition. All it is just a formal request. Just because you have 5,000 signatures, on a petition doesn't mean that the government's going to change. But it allows people in government positions to at least know how most of the people feel. So a petition is just a formal request. Doesn't guarantee that anything will be changed. But you can petition and ask the government for a redress or to look at something. The next thing, these are just terms that go kind of all with the Bill of Rights. A search warrant. Well, what is it? Well, the first thing it has to be specific. It's a legal document that describes the place to be searched and the person or things that are going to be taken. It is a specific document. It is issued by a judge upon probable cause. A search warrant. Vocabulary word number 7. This goes along with Amendment 5. Which protects the rights of an accused person. Most of y'all don't know this. But the first thing that your case will do is go before a grand jury. The grand jury is not a trial jury. The grand jury decides, they look at each case and decide if there's enough evidence to even go to trial and to give an indictment or not. If there's not enough evidence, the grand jury throws it out. The case is over. But if the grand jury thinks there's enough evidence, ignore that bell. If they think there's enough evidence to go to trial and to give an indictment, then they will do that. And the grand jury will decide, and a list of formal indictments will be given out. If a grand jury ever decides that there's enough evidence in your case to go forward, you're going to trial unless there's a plea bargain or some kind of arrangements made. But that's what the grand jury decides. It doesn't decide guilt or innocence. They just decide if there's enough evidence for an indictment or to even go to trial in the first place. It's just another one of those steps. Remember, I got 5 steps to my house. It's just another one of those steps in order to protect an accused person. I know that does that mean innocent people never go to jail? It happens. Does that mean that guilty people get off the hook? I mean, it happens. But the percentages are way low, I think, because of all of these steps in Amendment 5 that help protect the right of an accused person. Our vocabulary word number 8 is indict. The C is silent. That means to be formally accused or charged with the crime. Once the grand jury issues an indictment, you've been formally accused of it. One thing in America, if you're going to jail, you'll know why. If you're being held in jail, you'll know why. I mean, you might be innocent of it, but you'll know why you're there. You'll know the charge. Another part of Amendment 5 was double jeopardy. You know this. You can't be put on trial twice for the same crime. And then, of course, another part of Amendment 5 is due process. The law must be fairly applied to everybody. You must follow the steps. I will go through the same due process if I'm ever accused of a crime that Peyton Sheaves will go through. The due process is applied to everyone fairly. Follow the steps. And like I like to say in the last video, follow the yellow brick road. All right. The next to last vocabulary word, and you're going to have to pause me at any time to get this down, but eminent domain. Eminent domain. I used to love to watch Seinfeld, and Jerry and his friends used to use the voice. They would see each other and go, "Hello. Hey, George." They loved to use that stupid voice, and Jerry's girlfriend got fed up with it. She said, "Jerry, the voice, or me, one or the other have to go." And Jerry chose the voice. He said, "Well, bye. I want to keep doing the voice." So he let the girlfriend go just so he could go with his friends and, do that stupid voice. "Hello." Now, I know I'm weird, but I think of eminent domain. I think of that voice that Jerry Seinfeld used to do, and I go, "Eminent domain. Eminent domain." Eminent domain. Have you ever heard of it before? It's the right of the government to take private property for public use. Oh, they'll give you fair market value for it, but they have the right to take that property. The best example is the interchange at Lock Gully over near Oak Hill. Used to be a stoplight there. There was a lot of accidents there, but the government came in, bought the property around that interchange, and put in the cloverleaf exit ramps. I know that because my grandpa and grandma used to live there at Lock Gully. Their house was not taken in eminent domain, but people that lived down over behind them below on the bottom of the hill, they had their home taken. They were given fair market value by the government of West Virginia, and they were torn down, and that cloverleaf interchange system at Lock Gully was put in there, all through eminent domain, or as Jerry Seinfeld likes to say, eminent domain. And our last word is bail. Now, your definition for that is collateral for court, and it says, "I'll explain." So you might want to pause me, write that down, collateral for court. And now I shall explain. A lot of people think it's funny. "Oh, if you ever go to jail, you're my buddy. I'll come and bail you out." "Yeah, we'll come and bail you out of jail, man." Okay, that's great. Let me explain how it works a little bit. I'll try to put it in simple terms for you. A lot of people think you go and just pay $200 and you get your buddy out of jail and y'all high-five and laugh about whatever they did. No, not exactly. Bail is used as collateral for court. If your buddy is in jail and you're going to go pay his bail to get him out, he's not off scot-free, okay? And the thing is, let's say your buddy and his bail is set at 15 grand and you're going to go pay to get your buddy out of jail. Well, that's fine, okay? That's all fine and dandy. Well, here's the deal. They're going to take your $15,000 and they're going to let your buddy out of jail. But if he doesn't return for his trial date or his hearings, then you lose your $15,000. It's gone. Gone. If your buddy goes to his trial date, then you'll get most of that $15,000 back, minus some court fees and stuff like that. Okay, I get it, but you'll get most of it back. So all bail is collateral to make sure you show up in court. You know Dog the Bounty Hunter? Everybody likes Dog the Bounty Hunter. We watch his show. We love him. But he's going after bail jumpers. What's a bail jumper? They get out of jail on bail, and then they run. Go to Florida, Arkansas, West Virginia, wherever they want to go to hide so that they don't have to go to trial. But Dog the Bounty Hunter comes and tracks them down. And whoever paid that bail money to get them out, they lose it. So here's my advice. If you have someone that's your buddy that you're going to bail out of jail and you're going to put up your car, your home, 15 grand or more to get them out of jail, you better make sure that they show up for their trial hearing and their trial date. If not, you're just out. So bail is collateral for court. This ends video number 2 in lesson number 1 of unit 2 about the Bill of Rights. This is Coach Eads, over and out. Over, Roger, Roger, over. That's an old airplane joke from the 70s. Y'all don't remember that movie.